Namaste, Sitaram, a pleasant good morning. Welcome to Rudraaya. I am your host, Nisha Sharma, and Rudraaya is being brought to you with the kind compliments of Maharujadip Mandir. And of course, the Mandir is located at 850 Tapscott Road, Unit 34 in Scarborough, with Tapscott and McNichol being our closest intersection. So today on Rudraaya, we have some very, very special news for you. Throughout the program today, I will be letting you know what that news is. And of course, Maharujadip Mandir last weekend had elections, and we elected a brand new board. So I'm very excited to let you know who the new slate of board of directors are. But first, we will get into a pravachan with our spiritual leader, Pandit Ravi Sharma. Enjoy.
प्रेम से बोले श्री उमापति महादेव की जय. Life, in fact, is a great mystery, and more mysterious than life is death. Death, indeed, is a great mystery. If one understands death, then the depth of living will be lived. To understand life and death, it is very important to understand the whole gamut on how karma works. The whole theory of karma is a very deep topic, but just reflect on this beautiful story. It is one of the Upa-kathas of the Ramayana. It is said that on one occasion, after the great war, in the end of the Ramayana, Shri Ram, he is administering, looking after the needs of the kingdom. Shri Ram would meet all those who needed. The time was called as the Ramraj, the time of perfect living. Shri Ram tells Lakshman, go and see if there is anyone on the outside seeking advice. Lakshman, he goes, looks on the outside, he comes back and says, Lord, no one is there again. Shri Ram, he says that, O Lakshmana, go once again. This time, when Lakshman goes on the outside, he sees a dog, and the dog was howling. The dog was crying. There was blood oozing from the head of this dog. And so, Lakshman, he brings the dog inside. And so Sri Ramchandra ji, when he looked at the dog, he could have understood the language of animals. And he says towards the dog, why are you in this position? The dog says to Shri Ram that I have come to meet you and I want you to give me fair justice as you give justice towards all. Because injustice has been done to me. And so Shri Ram, he says that what type of injustice has been done to you? The dog stated, Shri Ram, I was simply lying down, doing no harm to anyone. And suddenly, this old Brahmin beggar comes and he kicks me and he hits me on my head with a stick, and therefore injustice is being done has been done to me, and so he has to be punished. Bhagwan Sri Ram, he says that he gives justice towards all, but how is he to give justice towards this animal, this dog? He says, Lakshman, go and bring this old Brahmin. And so the old Brahmin was brought forth by Sri Ram in front of Shri Ram. Sri Ram looked at him and said, why did you do this? Why did you kick? Why did you hit this dog? The old beggar stated, I was very hungry. I had to pass through this narrow lane. This dog was lying down. I told the dog to move, but the dog did not move, and therefore in a fit of anger, I hit the dog. And so it was for this reason that he is in this position. Shri Ram, he listened carefully, and he began to reflect. He went into deep thinking. He says that one is the rule of a human being, another is the rule of animals. So Shri Ram, he tells the dog that you tell me what type of punishment should be given to this old Brahmin. The dog goes and whispers something in the ear of the old Brahmin. The story goes on that the old Brahmin was told by the dog to Shri Ram that he would be made to go and sit upon a beautiful, huge elephant, and with great pomp and celebration to go on his merry way. Shri Ram, when he heard the request of the dog, he said, be very careful about what you ask. Instead of punishing this old Brahmin, this beggar, you want to give him a reward? Is that right? And so the doggy answered, previously, he said, what type of punishment is this that you want to reward him, although he has hit you in such a manner? And so the dog answered, he stated, Shri Ram, in my previous life, I was a great man. I was a great monk. I was the chief priest. And therefore, instead of doing my spiritual sadhana, I got so lost in running this monastery. And so many people respected me, and they came and they bowed before me. My ego was built up. Instead of destroying my ego and doing my spiritual sadhana, I had the illusion that I was most enlightened. And therefore, the pleasures of all of this, they were received, and therefore, this caused me to not practice my spiritual sadhana, my spiritual task. Even though so many people respected me, I got caught up and I fell victim. And so when I died, that papa or that sinful tendencies came and overtook me, and hence I was born now as a dog in this birth. And therefore the punishment is I got hit in such manner. So, Shri Ram, if this man becomes a Mahant, he may also get caught in the same trap, and therefore let that be his reward. Let that be his punishment, said the dog. he will come back as a dog once again. Friends, devotees, the moral of the story is that whatever position that you are in, if you don't dexterously use that position, it may appear for the outward world that you are rewarded. But if you don't use the karma, the actions rightly, dexterously, with accumulation, what happens is that you may think that you're going forward, but this also will become your downfall. Therefore, practice jnanam, jagrata, in whatever position that you are in. Always be alert of the external karma. Guard the internal karma also. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi, Harihi, Om.
हे जगत पिता भगवान हमेरो ज्ञान तू ईश्वर व्यरह दुनिया में एक सहारा। हे जगत पिता भगवान हमेरो ज्ञान तू ईश्वर व्यरह दुनिया में एक सहारा। बचपन में वो क्षण आया है, जीवन का पर्वत माया है। बचपन में वो क्षण आया है, जीवन के पर्वत माया है। जब आओ अब जाओ का विषय यो ने मुझको मारा, दुनिया में एक सहारा। हे जगत पिता भगवान मेरो ज्ञान तू ईश्वर व्यहरा दुनिया में एक सहारा। पापों के भगवान में बचा मेरो का सच्चा भक्त बना। पागंद ज्योत से सदा करे किनारा, दुनिया में सहारा। हे जगत पिता भगवान हमेरो ज्ञान तू ईश्वर व्यहरा दुनिया में सहारा। हे जगत पिता भगवान हमेरो ज्ञान तू ईश्वर व्यहरा दुनिया में सहारा। हे जगत पिता भगवान हमेरो ज्ञान तू ईश्वर व्यहरा दुनिया में सहारा दुनिया में सहारा।
My dear viewers, I hope you've enjoyed this morning's pravachan. And of course, as I mentioned today's, at the start of today's program, Maharudraaya Mandir had elections. And of course, we elected a new board. And what we are very, very proud of is half of our board, 50% of the board, are youths ages 18 and older. So we're very, very proud that the youths have taken this step to come forward and to champion this cause and to help us to bring the youths and the seniors together under one umbrella as Maharudraaya Mandir. So throughout the program today, again, I'll let you know who those youths are, and of course who are the the other members of the board that also was successful in the election. Without further ado, we'll get straight into our health segment with Dr. Sachin Ramkisoon.
Sitaram and welcome to Health Corner. I am Dr. Sachin Ramkisoon, and today is the second in our two-part pregnancy series on the developing fetus. Today we are focusing on how the fetus is affected by its surrounding environment. At the conclusion of last week's talk, we highlighted that the first 12 weeks of fetal development is the crucial time where all the organs and structures are formed. The last 28 weeks of the pregnancy is where the already formed organs grow in size. Therefore, these first 12 weeks are when the growing baby is the most susceptible to its environment and various stressors that we will now discuss. The growing fetus is supplied by the placenta, which provides the nourishment and the oxygen needed for growth. Most everything the mother ingests, including food, liquids, and medications, travel through the placenta to the fetus. Anything the mother is exposed to in the environment affects the fetus, and if the mother is exposed to something harmful, the child can show lifelong effects. The first we will discuss is alcohol. Alcohol use during pregnancy is the leading cause of preventable mental disability in children. Excessive alcohol drinking during pregnancy can cause fetal alcohol syndrome, which results in lifelong consequences for the child. This can include a smaller head size, abnormal facial features, learning disabilities, and developmental delays. There is no known safe levels of alcohol during pregnancy, so it is recommended that all pregnant women avoid alcohol, especially during the first 12 weeks. The next is drug use. Illegal drugs such as heroin, cocaine, and ecstasy can cause a range of developmental problems, including physical and mental disabilities and low birth weight. The baby can sometimes be born addicted to certain drugs if the mother habitually used during pregnancy. The next is prescription medication. There are many known medications that can affect the growing fetus, and many more drugs where the effect is not known because there are just no studies available. It is crucial that all medications be reviewed by a physician to see if they are safe to use during pregnancy. The next is smoking. Nicotine from cigarette smoke travels through the placenta and to the fetus. This can result in low birth weight, stillbirth, and sudden infant death syndrome. The greater the exposure to cigarette smoke, the greater the chance of an adverse outcome. This also applies to secondhand smoke. Another exposure risk is radiation. This is commonly seen in X-rays and CT scans and can directly cause developmental and birth defects. It is important to have a discussion with your physician before having any procedure where radiation exposure is a possibility. The last major environmental factor is the mother's psychological state. Any form of stress experienced by the mother can have negative effects on fetal development and leads to harm to both mother and child. When the mother experiences excessive stress, there are stress hormones that are released into the blood, and that can cross the placenta, affecting baby and baby's growth. There are many studies that clearly show that excessive stress during pregnancy is linked to pregnancy complications. Similarly, depression or excessive anxiety in the mother during pregnancy is associated with higher complication rates and fetal mortality. It is very clear that mother's psychological well-being has a lot to do with proper development of the fetus. At 18 weeks of pregnancy, the fetus can hear its surroundings, including any voices. This is where the developing baby listens and responds to sounds and voices. Talking to baby in a calm, positive tone helps stimulate brain development, and often baby moves and kicks in response to these positive sounds. I hope that this two-part series on fetal development has been useful to you. I thank you for joining with me on Health Corner, and I look forward to speaking with you again next week on Rudraaya.
My dear viewers, as I mentioned, not today on Rudraaya, but perhaps maybe next week, we will have the new Board of Directors of Maharudraaya Mandir here to greet you. For now, I'll let you know who they are. And so we have our successful directors, Rakesh, better known as, Ramesh Ramnarayan. We have also Anthony Saith. Anthony has been a member of Maharudraaya Mandir since inception. He's decided to take a more integral part for the next 3 years. And of course, we have our own Janak Prasad, who has been with us in the background, helping us continuously. He's also decided to step up and take a more integral role in helping us to shape Maharudraaya Mandir for the future. And our 3 youths that have joined the board, 18 years and over, you know, they stem from ages 18 to 20, being Kashmina Mangal, who's now getting ready to enter into universities. She's starting in September. We have Tyler Mohan, who is also pursuing his pilot license. And of course, for those of you who know Chitra and Nigel Mohan, Tyler is, of course, their eldest child, their only son. So he's also stepped up to assist us in moving Maharudraaya Mandir to a new level. And of course, we have our own Ravisha Sharma, who's also decided to undertake a more integral role in helping us to further the mission of Maharudraaya Mandir. So there you have it, folks. And of course, perhaps maybe next week, we will have the new board of directors to greet you here personally. So congratulations to all of them. And we are looking forward to supporting them in their role. And of course, would like to thank our previous board for the time and the contributions that they have made towards helping us to get this far. And of course, now we'll get straight into our corporate segment with Kamalji from Lotus Funeral Home.
Sitaram and Namaste. My name is Kamal Bardwaj and I'm the owner of Lotus Funeral and Cremation Center in Toronto and Kitchener Funeral Homes and Crematorium in Kitchener. I'm also a licensed funeral director. Grief is a universal emotion, but no 2 people experience grief in exactly the same way. Some actions you can take to help you cope with feelings of grief. Invite people to call you or host conference calls with family members and friends to stay connected. Ask family and friends to share stories with you via phone, video, chat, photo sharing, apps, etc. Use grief counseling services, support groups, for many of which is now online. Take part in activities that you have significance and loved ones that you have lost, such as planting flowers or preparing a favorite meal in memory of your loved one. At Lotus Funeral and Cremation Center and Kitchener Funeral Homes and Crematorium, we operate 7 days a week and 24 hours a day. Our crematorium is located in our building, so we never have to leave our building in cold or bad weather for a cremation. Our crematorium space can have a large group of people to attend the witnessing of the cremation as well. For Hindu families, we can provide all the puja items, including fresh leaves and a hab and kund. We have large halls that accommodate large seating to smaller ones. We are centrally located for families in the west and families in the east. For more information, please contact me from the telephone number on the screen. Thank you for watching and see you next week on Rudraaya. Sitaram.
Life is beautiful, but death is inevitable. I realized this when my dad passed away. So much pain, and amidst all this, the worry of arranging a funeral. Thankfully, in all this, Kamal stood by me. From the viewing to the cremation, he arranged it all at one location. Once someone is gone, they don't come back. But Lotus Funeral Home knows how to give them a respectable farewell.
Lotus Funeral Home. Life must be celebrated.
My dear viewers, we've come to the end of another segment of Rudraaya, and like I mentioned, we are pleased to welcome our new board to Maharudraaya Mandir, and I'd just like to spend some time to thank the previous board for all their contributions. And we'll start with Dr. Sachin Ramkisoon, who has been with me side by side since inception of Maharudraaya Mandir, and he's really helped us to champion our cause. Same with Shamir Ali, who's also completed his 2 terms with Maharudraaya Mandir. We also have Mahendra Dani, who also contributed over this past 3 years, as well as Robbie Ramnarayan, who also made significant contributions as well. And of course, myself, Nisha Sharma, who decided to step down as in accordance to our constitution. A director can only run for 2 terms, and then we have to step down. So we do follow the rules at Maharudraaya Mandir. And of course, Ramesh Ramnarayan, who is Rakesh Ramnarayan, is going to stay on the board for continuity purposes and to support the new board of directors. And of course, even though we don't have a formal title, we do intend to stand right behind the youths to empower them to excel and support them in their role. So a big thank you to the previous board and a huge welcome to the new board. My dear viewers, I'd like to thank our kind sponsors at Maharudraaya Mandir, as well as our executive producer, Gary Khan, for making Rudraaya possible. And of course, till we meet again next week, stay safe, be blessed. Namaste.
Shiva Omkara, Shiva Omkara,
Shiva Omkara, Hare Shiva Omkara,
Brahma Vishnu Sada Shiva Ardhangi Dhara, Shiva Omkara, Hare Shiva Omkara,
Shiva
एकानन चतुरानन पंचानन राजे हंसासन गरुडहासन वृषभासन साजे ओम हर 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 महादेव
ओम हर 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 महादेव
दो भुज चारु चतुर भुज दश भुज ते सोहे तीनों रूप निरहकते त्रिभुवन मोहे ओम हर 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 महादेव
ओम हर 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 महादेव
अक्षमाला वनमाला रुंदमाला हरि नंदन मृग मदसोहे माले शशिधरी ओम हर हर महादेव
ओम हर 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 महादेव
श्वेतांबर पीतांबरं भागंबर अंगे गंगादिक ब्रह्मादिक भूतादिक संगे ओम हर 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 महादेव
ओम हर 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 महादेव
कर में श्रेष्ठ कमंडलु चक्र त्रिशूल धरता जग करता जग महरता जग पालन करता ओम हर 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 महादेव
ओम हर 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 महादेव
ब्रह्म विष्णु सदा शिव जानत विवेका ब्रह्माक्षर में महत्ये ये तीनों एकाओ हर 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 महादेव
ओम हर 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 महादेव
या शिव जी की आरती जो कोई नर गावे शिवानंद स्वामी मन वांछित फल पावे ओम हर 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 महादेव